Chapter 1: The Dawn of NeonOpolis. NeonOpolis wakes up with a glow of artificial lights. Neon skyscrapers stand out against the gray sky, as symbols of progress and prosperity, but also as sources of light pollution that obscure the stars. The city is a melting pot of cultures, races, social classes, dreams and nightmares. The residents of NeonOpolis live in a frenetic pace, always looking for opportunities, fun, challenges, escape. Some are happy, some are frustrated, some are indifferent. Among the anonymous crowd, there is one person who stands out from the others. He has a black t-shirt with white writing, DJ GiDiO. He has a shoulder bag with a portable mixing console. He has a pair of sunglasses with a lens that projects a map of the city. He has one goal: to get to the arena for his show. Chapter 2: The Symphony of the Crowd. The arena is the beating heart of NeonOpolis. It is the place where the most important, most spectacular and most anticipated events in the city take place. It is the place where the past and the future, tradition and innovation, reality and fantasy meet. The arena is a circular amphitheater, with a transparent dome that lets in natural light. In the center, there is a stage surrounded by a series of holographic screens that create virtual scenography. All around, there are thousands of seats, occupied by a heterogeneous, enthusiastic, noisy crowd. The crowd came to witness the show of DJ GiDiO, the most famous, most talented, most innovative musician in NeonOpolis. The crowd has been waiting for this moment for months, buying tickets in advance, following the news about his latest productions, listening to his tracks and streaming, sharing their opinions on social networks. The crowd has high expectations, has strong emotions, has different relationships. Some are friends, some are rivals, some are strangers. Among the crowd, there are dialogues that reveal their thoughts, their feelings, their desires. A sense I can't wait to hear his new track, they say it's the bomb. A sense I hope it's not like his last one, it was too commercial, too banal, too predictable. A sense I like everything he does, he is a genius, he is an artist, he is a master. A sense I only like his music, not his person, he is too arrogant, too self-confident, too self-centered. A sense I don't like anything about him, I'm just here to accompany my boyfriend, who is a huge fan of him. I prefer classical music, it's more elegant, more refined, more profound. Chapter 3: The Alchemy of the Stage. DJ GiDiO takes to the stage, greeted by a roar of applause, whistles and shouts. It is the moment he has waited for a long time. It is the moment he has carefully prepared. It is the moment he has dreamed of with passion. DJ GiDiO is the king of electronic music. He is the pioneer of alien music. He is the creator of impossible music. His story is that of a boy who discovered his vocation for music, who studied his musical influences, who challenged his artistic conventions, who expressed his values. DJ GiDiO loves music as a universal language, as a means of communication, as an art of creation. On stage, DJ GiDiO feels connected to the crowd, feels in control of the situation, feels ecstatic about his art. DJ GiDiO uses his mixing console to create original tracks, mixing sounds from alien worlds, discovered thanks to secret technology, which allows him to travel beyond the confines of reality. DJ GiDiO uses metaphors to describe the columns of laser light that accompany his music, like brushes of color painting the sky, like swords of energy cutting the air, like arrows of passion shooting towards the crowd. Chapter 4: Beyond the Edge of Reality. DJ GiDiO starts playing his unreleased track, the one he has kept hidden until now, the one he wanted to dedicate to his city, to his crowd, to his show. It is a track that tells of his journey between alien worlds, that shows his discoveries among alien creatures, that expresses his emotions among extraterrestrial landscapes. It is a track that transports the crowd into a parallel dimension, which makes them feel part of an alternative reality, which makes them live a unique experience. DJ GiDiO describes alien worlds with visual details, such as their colors, their shapes, their textures, their atmospheres, their peculiarities. For example, there is a world where the sky is purple, the clouds are pink, the stars are green, the air is sweet, the gravity is low. There is a world where the mountains are made of crystal, the lakes are made of mercury, the plants are made of metal, the sound is high-pitched, time is fast. There is a world where the inhabitants are of light, feelings are of color, thoughts are of music, life is of harmony, death is of rebirth. DJ GiDiO describes alien creatures with physical details, such as their appearance, their size, their abilities, their expressions, their intentions. For example, there is a creature that has 6 eyes, 4 arms, 2 tails, blue skin, a gravely voice. There is a creature that can change shape, size, color, consistency, temperature. There is a creature that can communicate telepathically, manipulate matter, create illusions, heal wounds, transfer memories. DJ GiDiO describes extraterrestrial landscapes with environmental details, such as their climate, their vegetation, their fauna, their geology, their history. For example, there is a landscape that is covered in snow, that has ice trees, that has fur animals, that has diamond rocks, that has a history of war. There is a landscape that is invaded by the desert, which has fire cacti, which has sand insects, which has glass dunes, which has a history of peace. There is a landscape that is submerged in water, that has algae of light, that has metal fish, that has corals of sound, that has a love story. Chapter 5, The Console of the Impossible. DJ GiDiO continues to play his unreleased track, the one that is driving the crowd crazy, the one that is changing the city, the one that is writing history. It's a track that he exploits al maximum, his mixing console, the one that allows him to create his music, the one that gives him his power, the one that hides his secret. It is a console that works with advanced technology, which has exceptional technical characteristics, which has infinite creative functions, which has 0 limitations. DJ GiDiO explains how his console works, what its components are, what its modes are, what its settings are. For example, there is a component called a scanner, which is used to detect sounds coming from other dimensions, which has an automatic or manual scanning mode, which has a frequency, amplitude and duration setting. There is a component called a mixer, which is used to combine sounds coming from other dimensions, which has a sequential or random mixing mode, which has a volume, tone and rhythm setting. There is a component called effector, which is used to modify sounds coming from other dimensions, which has a distortion, echo, reverb effect mode, which has an intensity, speed and depth setting. DJ GiDiO explains how he uses his console to create his music, what his techniques are, what his inspirations are, what his experiments are. For example, he uses the sampling technique, which consists in taking fragments of sounds coming from other dimensions and reproducing them in a different way, inspired by hip-hop music, experimenting with variations in tempo, tone and harmony. He uses the looping technique, which consists in repeating segments of sounds coming from other dimensions and superimposing them in a synchronized way, inspired by techno music, experimenting with variations in phase, frequency and dynamics. He uses the synthesizing technique, which consists in generating new sounds coming from other dimensions and modeling them in a personalized way, taking inspiration from ambient music, experimenting with variations in waveform, filter and envelope. DJ GiDiO explains how his console interacts with the other elements of the show, such as lights, holograms, fog, creating a multi-sensory experience. For example, his console is connected to a system of laser lights, which are activated based on sounds coming from other dimensions, which change color, intensity, direction, creating suggestive atmospheres, complex geometries, optical illusions. His console is connected to a system of holograms, which are projected based on sounds coming from other dimensions, which show images, symbols, messages, creating realistic scenography, visual metaphors, intellectual provocations. His console is connected to a fog system, which spreads based on sounds coming from other dimensions, which changes density, temperature, smell, creating tactile sensations, olfactory nuances, emotional suggestions. Chapter 6, The Kaleidoscopic Dance. DJ GiDiO completes his unreleased track, the one that unleashed the crowd, the one that transformed the city, the one that made history. It is a track that reached the pinnacle of his music, that expressed the maximum of his art, that demonstrated his talent. It's a track that made the crowd dance in a kaleidoscopic dance, that made the city vibrate in a symphony of lights, that made the world dream in a vision of peace. DJ GiDiO describes the crowd's reaction to his track, how they feel surprised, elated, transported, how they feel part of something bigger than themselves. For example, there is a girl called Luna, who feels surprised by the beauty of music, who feels euphoric by the joy of dancing, who feels transported by an indescribable emotion, who feels part of a community of souls. There is a boy called Leo, who feels surprised by the power of music, who feels euphoric from the adrenaline of dancing, who feels transported by an intoxicating sensation, who feels part of a revolution of ideas. There is a couple called Diva and Adam, who feel surprised by the magic of music, who feel euphoric by the love of dance, who feel transported by an overwhelming passion, who feel part of a creation of life. DJ GiDiO describes the choreography of the crowd, how they move in harmony, in contrast, in symbiosis, with the music, with the lights, with other people. For example, the crowd moves in harmony with the music, following its rhythm, its flow, its change, creating geometric shapes, sound waves, musical spirals. The crowd moves in contrast with the lights, challenging their intensity, their direction, their speed, creating plays of shadows, color reflections, flashes of light. The crowd moves in symbiosis with other people, feeling their breath, their warmth, their contact, creating bonds of affection, gestures of communication, moments of sharing. DJ GiDiO describes the climax of the show, how he reaches the highest point of his performance, how the crowd reaches the breaking point of its emotion, how the city reaches the point of no return of its transformation. For example, DJ GiDiO reaches the highest point of his performance, when he explodes his mixing console, releasing all the sounds coming from other dimensions, which merge into a universal melody, which fills the air with harmony, which touches everyone's heart. The crowd reaches the breaking point of their emotion, when they hug each other, kiss each other, thank each other, feeling an infinite gratitude, an immense happiness, a profound peace, which makes them feel alive, which makes them feel united, which makes them feel humans. The city reaches the point of no return in its transformation, when it lights up, becomes colorful, renews itself, showing a new beauty, a new vitality, a new identity, which makes it feel proud, which makes it feel special, which makes it feel NeonOpolis.